Commissioners, special call meeting, 6 p.m. Tuesday, November the 4th. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone would please stand.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to call the meeting to order. So I need to make sure that I understand, there's two things on here. The comp amendment 2111, and then the public hearing, the RZ 24-09. Are these different ones, or which one was pulled by applicant?
Yes, ma'am. RZ 2409 was pulled by the applicant.
Okay, all
Yes,
right.
ma'am.
Okay. So anyone that's here for RZ-24-09, Hybrid Properties LLC of Greensboro, Georgia, located at 1061 Pakes Creek Road. This item has been tabled by the applicant, so therefore it will not be heard tonight. The first item on the agenda, the following item was advertised for a public hearing but has been withdrawn by staff. Is that the comp amendment?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so comp amendment 21-11. So next item on the agenda is the Henry County Development Authority. If we could have the Attorney Rod Meadows please come forward to present this particular item.
Madam Chairman, members of the commission, and much importantly, members of staff who are always so helpful. I am here tonight on behalf of the Henry County Development Authority in regard to your approval of a TEFRA hearing, which I conducted on behalf of the Development Authority in regard to a tax-exempt revenue bond for the benefit of Fairview Terrace up in the Ellenwood area. In 1921, at your request, the Development Authority passed a bond to provide financing for the construction of a mixed-use facility in Fairview that involved 154 multifamily housing units. And at that time, I came before you and we conducted a TEFRA hearing, and you approved that, and that transaction closed. In 2023, that facility also refinanced its debt using, to some extent, the City of Milledgeville Housing Authority to assist them. That also required that I appear before you to approve a TEFRA hearing. And now recently, they have asked the Development Authority, and we're obligated under the bond documents to assist them, and they now are seeking an extension of the weighted average maturity of their bonds. And so consequently, last Friday, I conducted a TEFRA hearing at the Henry Development Authority offices. The only folks that appeared were members of the staff of the Development Authority and staff from my office, but we did provide notice to the public, as we're required to do. We did the statutory requirements and did once again approve that TEFRA hearing. Particularly of concern to all of our constituents, these debts do not constitute an obligation or an indebtedness of Henry County, of the state of Georgia, of the Development Authority, or any governmental entity. These bonds are payable by the developers. So I'm here tonight to request that you approve the fact that I conducted that TEFRA hearing, we've given appropriate notice to the public and followed the procedures that are required under the statute. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, are there any questions from the board? Hearing none, could I get a motion to approve?
Move to approve. Second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor? Motion carries. Thank you, Attorney.
Thank you very much. May I be excused?
Yes, sir. You may.
And
Thank you.
thank to all of you for your help in supporting the Development Authority. May I leave this with the clerk?
Yes,
for signature?
absolutely.
Thank you.
So next item on the agenda is the McGarity, RZ 21-38, Kenta.
Good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, board members, and pillars of the Henry County community. The item before you is a property located north of Highway 2081 at International Avenue and is 21.379 plus or minus acres. For more context, it is directly across from the recycling center. Our request before you is to rezone the subject property from RM, O&I, C1, and M1 to RM for multifamily residential. Current future land use map designation for the subject property is urban residential, supporting between 4 and 12 dwelling units per acre net. This was one of the original site plans that was submitted by the applicant team, indicating an apartment complex here at this subject location. Site plan has since been modified to include some commercial lots along Highway 2081 and provide a little bit more green space there. Apartment units would count to 270 units with some amenities, and again, that commercial and retail up at the front with the drive-through coffee shop to that southeast corner. Emergency access is proposed along Pretty Court from the west. Here are some elevations that the applicant team provided staff. Getting into some department comments that we received as part of our evaluation. According to the police department, 2 additional officers would be required to accommodate the 270 dwelling units that's being proposed. Likewise, fire department, 1 additional fire safety officer. And again, that fire emergency access only from Pretty Court to that west. Comments from the Water Authority and the school board. And streets, sidewalks, transportation, GDOT. Intersections at International Avenue and Pretty Court will be accessed via R cut upon completion of the 2081 widening. Subject property has current zoning entitlement for condominiums, office, and commercial spaces as per zoning action taken in 1983 and 1989. The applicant today, of course, looking to rezone the subject property for that apartment community and commercial space, again, 270 units. I want to note that this kind of mixture of uses between the higher dense residential and the commercial that would be supported under the urban residential future land use map designation today. Is located within the highway corridor overlay district and would need to meet those standards therein. With this latest site plan showing a gated apartment complex. And again, that site plan here for your convenience. Staff does recommend denial of the applicant's original request to RM and instead approval of alternate zoning of mixed use with the following conditions shown on the screen. Conditions highlighted: amenities, building permits to be reviewed by staff as far as elevations prior to that submittal, traffic impact study, amenities there, that centralized passive lawn space, fenced dog park, playgrounds, pickleball, and a 6,000 square foot minimum clubhouse with pool. And those facing Highway 2081, those commercial units, no drive-through window, shall not face Highway 2081, and we do have some prohibited uses there as well. No gas stations, tattoo parlors, body piercing, vape shops, nail salons, automobile washes. Drive-through only fast food restaurants would be prohibited with this condition, with the exception of a coffee shop that shall be permitted. And with that, I'd be happy to take any questions.
Any questions from the board?
Public hearing.
Oh, I forgot, okay. Well, this is a public hearing. Those wishing to speak in favor, including the applicant, please come forward. We have a collective total of 10 minutes.
Good evening, Commissioners. On behalf of the applicants, I'm Jeff Haymore. I work at the land use law firm of Dillard Sellers. Mr. Lanham gave you the background details, and so I will not repeat those. We do have a brief presentation. As Mr. Lanham pointed out, it is split zone property that is outdated. The current zoning renders the property economically undevelopable and is, as Mr. Lanham pointed out, contrary to the current comprehensive plan's future vision for this area. We filed 2 applications, a rezoning and a land use amendment. They were initially filed in 2021 and have been tabled indefinitely since August of 2023. But more importantly, in October of 2023, this board adopted the new comprehensive plan, including a new future land use map. With regard to the subject property, it is now part of the urban residential land use designation in this area, and this matters. As explained at page 89 of the comprehensive plan, the future land use designation will further determine the zoning district which is appropriate for a parcel as it develops or redevelops, and provides assistance to homeowners, developers, and county staff and elected officials. I want to highlight a few key points about this urban residential designation from page 96 of the comprehensive plan, and you can see these on slide 4 here. 1, this land use designation is geared towards housing products like garden-style multifamily residences. That's what we're proposing. It requires more usable green space, also we're proposing. It supports a range of household income and sizes, which we're proposing. 4, it encourages offering more flexibility in design and market-driven dwelling size. And 5th, and most importantly, the MU district is an appropriate zoning district in the urban residential land use category. So consistent with this new land use designation, the applicants propose a mixed-use development. It's called the Bennett. It has 10,200 square feet of offices, a 2,600-foot coffee shop, and 270 luxury apartment units and amenities, which include a 7,000 square foot clubhouse, generous green space, and trails. Now, the Planning Commission recommends that you change the zoning. The staff, as you heard, recommends that you approve this MU zoning. The applicants consent to the MU zoning before you, as well as the 13 recommended zoning conditions. Nicholas Ashton, who's here with TELUS Partners, will review a little bit more about that project in detail. We'd like to reserve any time for rebuttal, and then most importantly, to answer any questions you have.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening, Commissioners. My name is Nicholas Ashdown, 4983 New Peachtree Road, Chambly, Georgia, 303419. I want to draw your attention to the site plan and quickly go over the amenities, just in case they weren't covered by everybody else. On the front, you'll see the retail portion, which Jeff indicated was 10,200 square feet of office retail. We've also got the restaurant drive-through on the front there as well. The reason why we like this is because it does create a natural buffer to the apartments, which will be located behind. And we're going to also try our best to make sure it sort of stays in form with what else you see on the street. To the actual apartments themselves, we have a mix of units, which I'll go into in a second, just being wary of time and want to answer questions. The amenities are going to be a resort-style pool with fire pits, outdoor kitchen and grills. It's going to be a 24-access gym in the clubhouse. We have pickleball courts, children's playground, outer and central green space areas with pavilions scattered throughout the property. Something that I think is unique to this property as well is that there's a future proposed Camp Creek Greenway Trail, which goes from the Red Hawk Baseball Complex to Madonna Square. We're going to make sure, we're going to try our best at some point to tie into that trail. Naturally makes a fit for the development. You're also going to see dog parks and dog wash stations and such. There's also a pond at the rear there you see. That'll have a fountain in it, and it's part of trying to create an ambience for the actual project. Going into unit mix. Oh, let's get this way. So at the moment, we do have some conditions. Number of one-bedroom apartments should be at least 45% of the unit count. 3 bedrooms, no more than 10%. So putting that in, you've got roughly about 144 units that are going to be one bedroom. The difference between our A1 and A2 bedroom is that one has a den, study area, the other one does not. 2 bedrooms, there'll be 99 units, and 3 bedroom, 27 units. To give you an idea, there's going to be 6 buildings, so it's about 45 units per building. Another thing I'd like to highlight just briefly before we go is, and I can show those units. So there's your 1-bedroom units, 2-bedroom units on the left-hand side, and 3-bedroom units on the right-hand side. That's our typical floor plan. This is kind of the finish you would see in the kitchen, custom cabinets, countertops, balconies, nice bathrooms, washers, dryers. The clubhouse, as you can see, will have ping pong tables, pool tables, be a good area for the community to be able to gather outside of going to the coffee shop and such in the commercial out front. Do you have any questions?
Not at this time, we're still in the public hearing. If there's no one else wishing to come to speak in favor of the project, then we need to open it up for anyone that is here to speak in opposition. Okay, so that concludes public hearing. Counselor, I do have a couple of questions. So you're recommending a different type of zoning? So does this particular rendering fit the zoning that you're recommending?
Yes, ma'am, for mixed use. And that does align also with our comp plan as well.
Okay. Is Chief Black here? And,
Good evening.
hi, so you know what I want to know.
Yes, ma'am. Just right off the bat, I will tell you that based on the position of the two proposed entrances, that it will not meet remoteness. However, we also recognize the fact that there's wetlands surrounding the backside of this property, as well as possibly some required stream buffers. So we will have to apply for a variance. But we will ensure that with this multifamily that we have at least 26-foot wide streets in the area of the apartment complexes. And of course, everything up front will follow commercial guidelines, fire standards, and code. But we know it doesn't meet remoteness, but we also know, based on this rendering, that they have geographical challenges. So we will do our best to work around that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Commissioner Lewis, this is in your district. Those were the questions. Did anyone else have any other questions? Okay, all right. All right, go ahead.
I don't really have many questions. I know that this has been on the docket for some years. It was already on the docket before I became commissioner. And I know it's been problematic, and other developers have just been trying to find something that works. And I give them credit for putting forth the commercial element. And I know staff worked really hard to try to add that to this project. But at this time, I just don't see any real value added to the community by having a project here. There's nothing that will say to me that 10, 15, 20 years down the line that this is something that really added to our community. So with that being said, unless there are any questions by my colleagues, I move to deny the rezoning.
Okay. He made a motion to deny.
Second.
Okay, so we got a motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed?
I oppose, I just don't have enough information to really know.
Okay. Commissioner Price, what was your?
I like certain components of it. I do like the commercial piece. And so, I'll vote with the Commissioner Lewis.
Okay, so let me try this again. All that Commissioner Lewis made a motion to deny, Commissioner Johnny Wilson seconded. All those that are in favor of the denial, raise your hand. Okay. Those,
I abstain.
okay, so she abstained, I abstain as well. Motion carries.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, and I know I might be out of order, but we've worked for 4 years on this. Could we get a motion to reconsider and ask it to be tabled so that we can go back and meet with the commissioner and try to satisfy any concerns that the commission has? Again, we've got recommendations across the board of approval, and this has been on the docket for 4 years. This is the first that we've heard that this is an issue here.
This is not the first that you've heard. I've repeatedly said what I wanted, and it's fallen on deaf ears, so I'm trying to be polite. But if you can't follow the wishes of what we want as a community, then we're going to deny it. So I've had meeting after meeting, and I said what I would like to see, and it fell on deaf ears. So if you don't want to listen.
Okay. Next upcoming meeting is December 2nd, VOC regular scheduled board meeting at 9 a.m. County Manager, is there any comments or announcements that you need to make?
No, ma'am, Madam Chair.
Okay, meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.